Hello. Hi, this is Jason Aalon from letlive. You're watching Rock Forever magazine.
Hey guys, it's Tori from Rock Forever magazine, and I am here once again with Jason from letlive. How have you been?
I'm very well. Yeah, doing well. Thank you.
Good to hear. And you're on tour with Taking Back Sunday right now, but today is a bit of an interesting day.
Yeah.
We're in Melbourne. You're playing a headlining show because, oddly enough, you were banned from House of Blues Orlando.
Certainly.
What are your thoughts on that?
So I've taken I've had a few months to process it because I think it happened in January. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've concluded is that I don't know. I don't know. They didn't tell. They reserved the right to withhold the information as to why we were, barred from playing. So maybe if I had some more information as to why, I could formulate my own opinion and perhaps some sort of rebuttal. But as of right now, I just don't know. I don't know why the mouse has it out for us, But I did try to get free passes out of it. So I'm going to follow up on that request and see if maybe we can go, which is kind of ironic, right? You get banned from playing Disney Orlando or Disney House Blues, and then we go to their establishment. But we'll see. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Is this the first time this has ever happened at a venue?
No.
Oh.
Is that I wish I could be like, yes, and it's really heartbreaking, but no, it's not the first time.
I mean, you guys get wild, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
And we got to talk about, you have a lifestyle line out now called Gentlemen in Real Life, abbreviated G.I.R.L, which is very clever, by the way.
Thanks.
But it's no surprise that this would be the name of your line because you are quite a gentleman. But how'd you come up with the name? What inspired that?
I was actually sitting in one of those things, like the bandwagons, last year, and I had been, trying to basically undertake an entrepreneurial endeavor for the last 4 years. I've wanted to do something. And I realized that if I'm going to endorse anything authentically, it's got to be something that I enjoy as a lifestyle, so I can actually immerse myself within it and then try to offer it as a brand. So I was sitting in my little bunk, which is, for those of you that are familiar with the bandwagons, my bunk is bottom right next to the shower. I was sitting in that bunk, lying in it, and I was thinking to myself, the whole idea of, trying to include everyone in a company, as well as speaking for myself, and not to say that I'm the ultimate gentleman or anything of that sort. I do know that that's something that I would like to aspire towards all the time, and in considering that, those that have helped me become the man that I am have been women as well as other men. So that was where I was looking for an acronymical sort of clever notion, and G.I.R.L just kind of made sense in the end. So
yeah. And what motivated you though to start your own line? Because I feel like, especially a band like you guys, some people might accuse you of being a sellout or those kind of things. I'm sure you've heard it.
Yeah.
But so how did you come to this decision?
I feel, again, this is truly everything, and to be 100% transparent and make it clear, everything that is Gentlemen in Real Life is, its derivation comes from my own life. So these are essentials, or things that I deem, and my friends on the team deem to be essentials. So it's always been. It's been. I've worked at boutiques. I've worked in fashion, and I think aesthetic value in punk rock or whatever it is. I mean, you'd have to be completely blind if you're saying that they don't kind of run concurrently. There's a huge thing with that. So for me, it's trying to find a way to justify the aesthetic value that I really enjoy in my own life, and then sort of offering it to those that I guess we're surrounded by. And at the moment, those people that surround us are thankfully those people that give a shit about letlive. So we're trying to offer as a company, again, just something that I feel, if you want to do more, if you want to feel better, some people want to look differently. I'm not even going to say better, just change their style, flip the script, whatever you want to call it. We're just trying to provide some sort of tools that you can use in order to do that at a justifiable price point.
I like it.
How you like that for selling out, huh?
That was very, very good. And right now you're offering beard oil, hair oil, and some apparel. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, on the tour, so we call it our small batch items. It's just basically what I could take with me. There's a beard oil, hair oil, and just small apparel line, which included some shirts and a knit cap. And then I just actually got off the phone with our leather goods worker, and he's from Florida. So we're discussing, everything from watches to dog collars. And
I like it.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got a watchmaker who's a good friend, and obviously another apparel line, and just again, anything that we can make by our hand and call it quality. Our own hands, I'm sorry. Or one hand, I guess we could do it with one hand too. But more impressively.
Really
yeah, certainly. Anything that we can make by, our own two hands and call them quality, that's what we're going to offer, as long as it makes some sense.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and right now, as you were saying, it is being sold only at the shows, but are you planning on expanding into retail, online?
Yeah, we're going to launch our own personal retail, online retail component, hopefully at the end of June. Pre-orders should be up around May, if that's the tentative scheduling for the rollout plan. We have some interest by other retailers as of right now, so you might be able to find it at like a salon or barbershop or a cool hip store. I don't know. I just call them hip. It could be totally like unhip. It could be like Vaughn's or Ralph's or something. But no, it won't be though. It won't be that. That's too much selling out. It's too much selling. So
Too far.
Too far.
No, not at all. And I mean, aside from this venture, you are also the front man of Let Live, as we were saying. And you guys are currently working on your next album.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first release since The Black is Beautiful, which had overwhelmingly positive feedback, not only from your fans, but also people in the industry.
Yeah.
So how are you hoping to expand and just grow from that album to the next?
That's a really good question. You always wonder as an artist and as a creative, you go, like, what next? How? And I think those are more so like socially socially constructed, because people are always expecting things. And for us, I think the best way for us to evolve and sort of progress as a band is just let it happen naturally. And for those of you that have seen interviews, and with Tony and myself before, I've said this so many times, and I don't want to exhaust the point, but it's just a natural progression. And myself personally, I grew up on soul and hip hop, and so if someone hears me like attacking a song in a way that seems a little more rhythmic, that's probably just because that's who I am. It's not because I'm trying to sound like whatever, Limp Bizkit or whatever. I don't know. I've heard some crazy things. But that all being said, just trying to find a way to integrate what it is we enjoy as music listeners into what we play as musicians.
Yeah. So are there any particular artists that are inspiring you? I know your father was in a jazz kind of band. How about that?
I mean, that's always, no matter what, despite anything, personally with me and whoever, yeah, man, that's always going to be one of my biggest inspirations is my father. And as far as, music goes, that was my first taste of music. And that was my first taste of what it was to be like a guy. My dad played music and he wrote his own music and performed it and had a band, and that was all so cool. And it was always feel-good music. It was like funky. So as of right now, a woman named Jen Wigmore, she just wrote a new record that I've had the privilege of hearing before everybody. And it's amazing. And I think that her talents and the way that she sort of expanded herself as an artist is really inspiring to me. And then obviously, I'm on that like Kendrick Lamar, but also there's this group that Kenji, who's joined us on the force as a guitar player now. There's a band called Dorothy with these really lo-fi sort of like gritty sonic representation as far as like the recording, but the singer, like, excuse my language, is just a bad bitch. Like, she is just so bad, like so real and raw, and can sing her ass off. Like, she is so good. So just kind of stuff like that, I guess. Anything with that sort of progressive nature, I guess. Yeah.
And lyrically too. I mean, you tackled so many different topics on The Black is Beautiful, and I'm just wondering, where can you go next?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I had to let go of all my presupposition in order to find where I was going. So I just started writing, like literally listening to music and writing, seeing what came out. And the things that are most poignant to me or the most potent, that strike me most, the strongest, are what's left. And I'm able to discuss these things that I lamented so much, my life and abhorred and was so angry about. This sort of like sense of self-awareness that I'm getting has really given me a new perspective on how to change. I talked about wanting to change a lot in The Black is Beautiful and realizing a lot of my own indiscretions. And whether this be fortunate or unfortunate, I still hold a lot of those indiscretions and those things that I sort of want to change, but I'm working on it. Like, I really am, and I guess I can just talk about that as well as what I've observed. Like love, love is like a thing. It's real. It's real, and I don't know if I believed as much as I did when I wrote The Black's Beautiful, or at least for myself, and now I do. I really do. So I'm not gonna write like a ballad record, but I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe a side project?
Yeah, maybe a side project.
Just all love songs.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, I see love very, I would say, in an obscure manner, at least contextually, considering the rest of, fantasies and books and media. So I think it'll be an interesting take on love, but it's real. It's cool.
Well, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about this next album, and you got me wondering when we're going to hear it. Is there any news on that yet?
Yeah. Well, I guess by the time this interview goes up, it'll be announced. So we'll be out with a band, Rise Against and Killswitch Engage.
Nice.
Yeah, in the summer. So we're trying to get out a single. I don't know. What is that? We're releasing a song or two if we can by that tour. So hopefully by end of July, August, we should be releasing something to hear. Yeah.
This is very exciting. Can't wait to hear it. And the thing is, too, you have such a passionate fan base. I mean, I can say from personally experiencing, I think your fans are just really emotionally invested in your music.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is about the band that has led to this cult-like following that you've gained over the years?
I guess that appeal lies within us as people before musicians. Of course, I grew up slaving over trying to be a musician, but when I started to become a career musician, I realized that I'm much more interested in personal connection, than I am to just show off on a guitar or vocally or drums or whatever it is I choose to play. And I think that I really try to make it very glaring that I'm very similar to everybody that listens to us, and in many ways, both the good and the bad, man. We're all... Actually, this is a great question. You're so good. Can I just hold for one second? She's so good. As far as video interviews and there's a few people that I hold dear, and I was sleeping on that bus before I came out, and they said, "Oh, it's Tori from Rock Forever." I said, "Oh, I gotta get up." I put the hat on. I put this. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to. And like her videos, it's the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Hit the like button.
Subscribe.
She's great. But that being said, it's things like this where people actually want to know who I or Ryan or Jeff or Lonnie or Kenji or Dave, our manager, or Brett, our label owner. People want to know. It's not just they want this sort of sonic recklessness, It's not just a spectacle for people. It's an emotionally driven scenario or instance, and the investment.
Right.
That's exactly what you said. So in closing, I'm sorry, I'm just so verbose. I can't help it.
No, I love it. It's great.
I think that in the end, it's just that we find we're just not dissimilar. We're just people, and we make that very clear in our music, in our performance, and everything. Our aesthetic is very people-oriented. So.
You can even see it in the live show. It's like you're tearing down the barrier because you go in the crowd and you're connecting with everyone, which is something a lot of bands just don't do these days. Yeah. So definitely much respect to you for that. And so you are on this tour right now. What are the plans for right after this?
Go home and record that record you were talking about. Yeah. Just go home and do that. See my dogs that I miss so much. Yeah. And then launch this line. That's it, really. Just getting the official launch out, getting everything lined up, get the rollout plan, and just make sure we do everything, both whether it be Gentlemen in Real Life or Let Live. I make sure that I do them both at my full capacity and widen all my capabilities and make sure I do it the best I can.
Yeah.
And other than that, I don't know, just watch a bunch of Rock Forever videos on the internet.
Not a bad idea.
You know what I'm saying?
Sounds good. Well, you're keeping busy. Sounds great. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Worries,
always an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everybody watching, make sure you check out Let Live if you haven't already, and subscribe for more interviews. I'll catch you later. Bye.